Go over to camera number 2 and start getting some of these connections soldered back up. I've referenced my wiring diagram that I made yesterday and ensured I've got everything in the correct location. There's the first wire soldered. Connection number 2. And there's that back together. That's all soldered up. I'm going to see if I can sneak some contact cleaner in there and get those contacts shined up a little bit. Not liking the looks of those, but I can fix that pretty easily. And if the switches end up being bad, I can replace it. It's not a big deal. This connection has a diode on it, so I have got my heat sink on there, being that that is a heat sensitive component. There's that one. Go ahead and get in here and get to this one. Very good. Now come down here. Careful with the case. Don't want to put a burn on that. That should be pretty good. I might work on the back side just a little bit. Not 100% satisfied with that connection just yet. Where is it? Right there. Crimp that down and go in from the back side. Better. I like that better. Absolutely. Here's where I'm at on it. Got all my connections back. Everything's soldered and put back in. Need to put a piece of tape on that so it's like it was. And still need to clean that switch. I think it's time for a smoke test. It'll catch on fire or blow up or it'll work. Okay. It's plugged into the isolated power supply. See about that neon if it comes on. Turn that off. Turn that off. We're going to apply power now. Neon came on. Might be able to make it out in the camera. But we'll let that see if it'll change to 805 on its own. And we might be in the home stretch at this point if everything's working. Have to try the radio and all those functions too. Is the motor running? Yes, it is. It's chooching right along. It's taking on some of that lithium grease too, so That'll be good. Oh man, look at that go. Looks like we're chooching right along. Get a detail of that, how that works. Look at that. That's pretty cool looking. There's the detail of the motor running, driving the clock gear. Cool. Well, now let's see if it does anything. There's AM, FM. Cut the volume down a little bit because Susan, but I also sprayed the controls with De-Oxit yesterday, so that should help that. Let's do a volume test. No scratchy. Also did clean this switch here. Perfect. So the radio still works. I didn't screw that up, so we'll keep on going. Now that the work is done, it's time to polish this thing up and make it look as good as it can for a nearly 43-year-old clock radio. I'm going to take my Novus and see what I can do with this. I'm going to use the better of the two face plates, and I don't think it's going to be this one. No, it's got some spots on it that don't want to come out at all. So I believe this one's going to be the better option. Yep. We'll work on this one a little bit. I think that's going to do. Yep, I think that will look nice when it's completed. Very good. I'll work on it some more off camera and come back when I got it as good as I can. Got the front cover cleaned and polished, and also polished on the inside there where all the radio dial and all that is. Just with Novus #1, and it looks pretty darn good. So I will continue on with this. Had a bit of good news. I was able to get some control cleaner in there and get those switch contacts cleaned up nicely. Took a little paintbrush and swapped those out, and that is good. Also ran the knobs through the ultrasonic cleaner. Those look lovely. So now I'll polish them up with the Novus and go from there. At this point, I have got everything cleaned up except for the top and bottom. I've got to remount the speaker when I get the top back out here, but I'm just letting it run now for a little while just to make sure it's going to keep good time. There's a look at the neon indicator, and there's what it looks like in the top. Got the foil tape over it to divert it down onto the time. Let's go all the way dark. And now we're all the way dark. that's just bright enough to see in the middle of the night with no problem. So that should be a fine alarm clock, I would say. Well, now it's time to test on it a little bit. The radio functions are working. Now I'm checking the alarm. I've got it set for 7 o'clock. We'll come back here in just a little bit and see how that's doing. Let's come in for a little look. I just got done cleaning and polishing the cabinet with Novus, and it turned out awesome. I think JK18 will be happy with this, the way it looks. And it is working and keeping time. The alarm indicator is set for 7 p.m. or 7 o'clock, it doesn't matter. And we're set on music, wake to music. That's kind of cool, that knob does like that when it changes time. I read on another website or a video I watched, don't try to be changing the time when the clock is changing, because it'll strip the little gear out back there that I put oil, or that I put the lithium grease on. And there's this side, the controls panel. In the back, I got a lot of the paint splatter off of it. Not 100%, but pretty close. Will we get a minute change here? There it goes. Got a little glimpse of the neon backlight. So the alarm should be going off here. Put it back on the tripod and we'll wait for that. Beautiful. And then there's the actual alarm sound. So I would say this is a successful repair. Once again, this has been repairing JK18's GE alarm clock from 1980. It's model 7-4305C. Thank you for watching.